Hello, and welcome back to the podcast that drinks and knows things. I am your host, Luke, and I'm here with our first-time watcher on the wall, Abby.
Hello.
Go home, Gertie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing quite well. Better than you, having just come off of knee surgery. That's what it sounds like. So,
yeah.
But we're rooting for you.
Thanks.
I'd imagine you're not really drinking tonight, but if you are,
just on a strong dose of painkillers.
So you're still good. You're still ready to start knowing some things.
You probably won't notice any type of difference between super drunk Abby and super painkiller Abby because it's a little woo.
All right. Well, we are here talking about Game of Thrones season 7 episode. Are we on episode 4 already?
I know. It's crazy.
Wow, halfway through the season already.
It's really scary. This
amazing,
is not
cool.
Oh.
We'll talk about it here in a bit, but do you feel like you're like blazing toward the end here?
Yes.
Like season 7, like I feel like we just started it.
So when we got to it was like season 5, episode 8. And they had like come out I think we already knew like season 8 would be it, but that's when I started realizing, I'm like, hold on, wait, we only have 3 seasons to get through like a ton of shit. And then we went all the way through season 6 and I was like, I still don't even see how it's possible. I guess I can see how it's possible now, but it is so fast.
Yeah, things are fast. Blitzing. So this is The Spoils of War, episode 4 of season 7. And these are Abby's first initial thoughts before we do our normal full-blown episode. And after this, as usual on these Thursday night streams, we're going to rebroadcast Luke, Ben, and Glenn's original thoughts. So it's kind of these Thursday episodes are, hey, this is everyone's first thoughts without knowing anything beyond this. And then I believe we are recording Sunday evening with some really, really good friends, Dave and Tana from Westeros Winneverly. So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking and hand the floor over to Abby. Take it away.
All right. So I'm just going to kind of break it down into the 4 areas we visit today or in this episode. And we're going to start with King's Landing because it's kind of the smallest of the group here. And we see like the Iron Bank is getting paid back. Cersei gets the nice compliment. Your dad always, kept his word, but I've never seen a repayment like on this schedule. A nice pat on the back. And what stuck out to me the most was I guess it was more of a question. She says she's already had Qyburn like send something or make something to the Golden Company in Essos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure if I know what the Golden Company is or
what would you think it is?
I don't know if it's like another bank or if it's like what are they called? Like the Unsullied, like for hire. I just don't think I've ever
sellswords.
Yeah, a sellsword or something. Yeah, so I wasn't sure what they were, but obviously the Iron Bank is still wanting to back them, so that's good for them. You have to have funding, so cool. Not a whole much more in King's Landing for myself, specifically King's Landing. So there's King's Landing. Moving on. We can go to Winterfell. So there's kind of a lot that goes on in Winterfell here. We see Arya arrive home and get the whole "get out of here, you're not Arya Stark." It's like the second one of the series where, yes, I am, which is always kind of fun and cute for her to play because she's not the lady. And I also liked when she finally sees Sansa, she gives her like must I call you Lady Stark? And Sansa isn't like, oh no, she's like, yes. So I thought that just perfectly on point. Like it's just their personalities. It's very funny. The dagger that Microfinger gives to Bran.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really, bro? I'm not really sure how he has that.
Well,
because Catelyn had it, right?
So she shows it to Microfinger and Varys, and then does she take it back with her when she goes to the Vale?
Not that I know of, I guess.
So that's
me. Okay, yeah. So fine, but like, why? I don't know.
And I'm actually just blanking. I actually just can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
We've been drunk way too many times since then.
Perfect, but it just seems like an odd present to give to him, like somebody you don't know. I guess maybe coming from somebody else, it wouldn't have seemed odd, but it's Microfinger, so he's under scrutiny from me that I'm like, well, that was stupid, and had like, I don't know, Davos done it. I'm like, what a thoughtful gesture. So maybe it's just, presentation. Mira gets the big FU basically. And I knew it was gonna happen. Like, oh, my brother died for you. Summer died for you. Hodor died for you. Thank you. Like, come on, Bran. Like, and part of me is not like mad at Bran. I get that he is this new thing entirely. But man, that girl, like, she went to bat for you. And you just left her outside in the rain. Like, that's bad. That's harsh. Same with, like, I'm sure all his siblings are gonna feel. And what else happens?
Mira equals friend zoned.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think she cared about friend zone. She just wanted some like, hey, you're pretty handy to have around. Acknowledgement. Arya obviously gets the news that not Karstark, is it Roderick Cassell?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Grey Maester, is it Grand Maester?
Just Maester Luwin.
Maester Luwin are no longer there. And the guards are all, I thought it was real funny. They're arguing about who's going to go tell Sansa, and she's just like, you know what? I've had enough of this. See ya. Like,
you shouldn't have run from the guards. I didn't run. You need better guards.
Yes. And then we see last thing, probably not the actual last thing in Winterfell, but the last one I'll mention is Arya and Brienne fighting. That was cool.
Yeah.
Because Arya bested her. Like,
yeah, she beat her about 2 or 3 times, 2.5 times, I'd say.
Like, that's cool. That I was very, very.
Who taught you how to do that?
No one.
No one.
God damn, no one. All right. So, where else did we go in this little place here? Dragonstone. We get to see the cool little markings and inscribings on the wall from the First Men, and we learn that the First Men and the Children of the Forest fought against the White Walkers together, and the Night King seems to look exactly the same. He doesn't age. He has found the fountain of youth. I'm pretty sure. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, there's a lot of dragon glass. I also like what is it? Davos. Oh, like something about, oh, you've been staring at her heart. That's what you've been looking at. And he's like, speaking of hearts.
What do you think of her? Who? You know who I'm talking about. Exactly. She has a good heart. I've been catching you staring at her good heart.
Her heart, yes. Just cute. I don't know. I liked it. And then the great Theon rolls up on the shore, which okay, cool. And Jon doesn't like, he doesn't even like yell or
fire blow.
Somebody's home. He doesn't even really make any type of like, what were you like? You betrayed my brother. It was just like a Theon, okay. He's just very. I mean, those feelings have to be there, I think, like the anger or whatever. But being able to have a cool head beyond that is very impressive to me.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Missandei doesn't a bastard doesn't even register with her. Like, she doesn't get it.
Right.
Because it doesn't exist. So, I don't know. Can't really think of anything else not that nothing else stood out, but those are like the big ones that stood out there. And then I guess we'll go to the little battle scene.
Just a little teeny little bitty battle,
little skirmish.
So overall thoughts on the I guess the leading up to the battle.
On the Tweedle Beetle battle in a bottle, on a poodle eating noodles
in a puddle,
in a bottle,
on a puddle in a poodle. Luke
Sorry.
Luck licks Lake.
Hey,
Luke's duck
totally
licks lake.
on point. It is Dr. Seuss week, so
I know.
Boom. That's right. We read. Leading up to it, we have Braun doing. He gets a nice big bag of gold, and he's like, "I want a castle. Where's my fucking castle?" Jamie's like, "You can have whatever castle you want." Doesn't give him a castle, and I'm under the impression that the money still got to King's Landing. That maybe no, you're not telling me. I was under the impression.
I was reading a thing in the chat.
Okay.
I apologize.
So the money, I believe, got to King's Landing, but they were like staying for like grain or like the food supply. The money, or whatever.
So right when we kind of go back there, Randall Tarley comes back and he says the gold just passed the gates, and they were still kind of dealing with like the stragglers and the rest of the food, the grain being brought.
Okay, so that is what I understood, and it seems like a nice little leisurely stroll, and then they start hearing the hoofs, and that was pretty awesome. And I always like a big charge with horses because I just, oh my gosh, like the speed and power and how close they can run together. You don't survive that? Like, you just don't.
Yeah, you don't have two lines of men.
Yeah,
I mean, it worked at Minas Tirith for the Rohirrim.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely very well done. I really liked during the battle when we saw the Dothraki riders like jump up on their horses to do the bows.
Yeah.
And it was like almost in sync. And I love that precision, like in formation, like that. Oh, and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. And it was like bop, bop, hop, up, pull. I was like, holy shit, that was amazing.
So between now and Sunday, I have an assignment for you. You need to watch the making of, they call this the loot train battle. Okay. You need to watch the making of. Okay. It's pretty awesome. Like the shit that they went through to get this battle done it's pretty impressive. It
looked like, specifically the Dothraki riders looked amazing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, the Lannister would have been toast even without the dragon involved, right? Yes. I mean, that's kind of the thing, because even Jamie's like, I don't know, like we can maybe take this, and then all of a sudden, here comes Drogon.
Yeah, I know, right?
What did you think of his entrance?
He was pretty. I mean, I don't think he made a bad entrance. He definitely makes a statement. I just don't. I guess I do see how you can fight against it. We did see that Drogon got wounded, but he didn't go down. It just puts a lot into play. Like, they've already been talking about it, like burning cities and people that you're not necessarily targeting. It reminds me so much of, like modern warfare, where you have fighter jets and stuff, and still people on the ground. The logistics of making
Precision
sure
bombing.
like making sure you're going where you're supposed to. I also feel like Dany needs. Like, she needs a harness. I get that you can ride bareback on a dragon, but there needs to be a harness that kind of like wings up like this. So when they do shoot arrows, wing up and deflect. Sure. Like, let's just redirect it. Make the smallest space possible. You can still see. Like,
she needs to turn Drogon into a Pope mobile, right?
Yes.
Right.
Dragon mobile.
Bulletproof glass.
Yeah. All I'm saying, like, let's just get some redirection going, because it could take just one arrow. And if she got hit and wasn't even fatal, that blows is going to sting so bad. She's going to let go. She's going to fall hundreds of feet. You're dead anyways. So let's strap her in.
Right.
That's my final.
And Tony actually from the chat just brought up an idea that I was trying to get to, and I got distracted by the Pope Mobile idea. She literally has Tyrion on her team. And he's literally designed like a specialized saddle before, right? I mean, it's literally in his skill set.
Handwritten notes. Didn't Tyrion make Bran a saddle? Like, he's a saddle maker, I'm pretty sure. But yes, I think Dany needs a saddle.
Yeah, and just they're in like Fire and Blood and the history stuff. They do exist. Dragon chain straps, at least.
They do exist.
Battle of the God's Eye for reference.
Kind of like Santa Claus and cheese. No, Santa Claus and M&Ms. They do exist.
Oh my God, he does exist. They do exist.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's our 4 places. Unless we want to. I mean, so at the end, this is the last thing I'll talk about. Jaime does his like spear to the dragon, be the hero, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I don't really know if you can tell for sure who knocks him out of the way. I'm gonna.
Do you want to make it a speculation, or do you already have other ones?
No, we can make this a speculation because I don't have one. I'm gonna guess it's Bronn, only because I can see them like getting out of there together. But to me that makes more sense. But physically, I thought it was what is his name? Like Dickon Tully.
It's Dickon.
Yeah. So, but that one doesn't make as much sense to me. But maybe it's, I don't know. Physically, I thought it was Dickon. So that's what I'll go with.
Okay. One last thing I want to just get your thought on was right. I think it's right before Theon gets there.
Okay.
And Dany finds out that we got Casterly Rock, but basically the Tyrells are out of the picture entirely now. Yeah. And so she's going with the whole, well, I don't really know what to do. Well, I do. I want to go burn the Red Keep. And then she looks to Jon. What did you think of that interaction? Just her asking him for help and him kind of trying to defer, and she like forces his hand to answer.
I think Dany does this in a way. She did it with Varys, like forced his hand to get a truth out of him. Either like fold on yourself or give me a hard truth. I think that over the last couple days or how long they've been there, she's realized that Jon, his people chose him just as they chose her. Her people chose her. He's probably a decent person, and we have Tyrion, who's like default to only protect her, like, but he understands the risk of being a leader also, which Tyrion isn't as fond of using. So I think it just makes her. I think she would have done it either way. I think this is what was going to happen. But she doesn't go for the Red Keep. We found like a middle ground somewhere, I guess. But I think it makes them like they're allies now. Like, I don't.
Well, she even kind of they're getting closer, right?
Yeah.
She's like, I will fight for you. I will fight in the north for you.
Yes.
When you bend the knee, like.
Right. It's really just playful foreplay at this point, but it's okay. It's a little bit.
So
just say
we knocked out one of your predictions. Do you have 2 others? I can kind of guide in a couple questions.
Sure.
At least.
Yeah. Go for it.
So at the very end, yes, you've predicted that it's Bronn, but it could also be potentially Dickon. Yeah. Like, do you think Jaime in his full armor? Like, do you have any doubt? Do you have any doubts about him at all?
I didn't until right now. I didn't even think about it. Somebody better go down after him.
Yeah, they better.
They better.
Sorry, that was a going down joke.
Yeah, I got it.
Boy, howdy.
Where's Cersei when you need her?
Right? Finally, she can be useful again. Sorry, BBM, we love you.
I think he makes it out. I don't know how. I just don't see this game without. Also, Peter Dinklage, Lena Headey, and Nikolai. Isn't that how you say his name?
Yeah, Nikolai. Costa
I think it's. They usually are. I don't know why now in season 7. Excuse me. They're both. All 3 are the top 3 title villains. So I always think it's kind of funny, like the siblings. Like even the Lannisters in real life make more money than the rest. Like, this is bullshit. Like, if you're a Lannister, you still make more money than the rest of the realm.
I mean,
bullshit.
If it fits, it fits, right?
I know, right? That was just something I saw today.
Let's see. What else can we predict on? What about anything with Bran or with Theon and Jon? Let's do Theon and Jon. How about that?
Okay. So I don't think Jon's gonna like behead him or make him even necessarily punish him for his crimes. I could see him banishing him.
Okay.
Like
Theon and Mel are just gonna go.
Yeah, go
cruise
somewhere. Yes, like I could see that. I need your men. I'm not gonna, if they keep him as his like their lord or whatever. I'm not gonna cut off that whole group that would follow you. But you're done. I'm done with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't really know what purpose Theon serves. Like I just don't see it. It would just be giving him another chance for him to fuck it up again. Sometimes you just have to cut the fat.
How many chances does he get, right? I mean,
I think he's had about 7 too many.
Cat on screen. Okay. The chat's gonna love that. Yeah.
Hello, cat.
All right. So, do you have any final thoughts?
Dirty laundry. No, it's actually clean laundry. It's just not folded.
That's how I never have dirty laundry later. It's I have baskets full of clean clothes because I hate folding.
I just have that one, so that's not too bad. But
hey, nice job. You're killing it.
Thanks.
You're doing a great job. So, any final thoughts, or do you just want to save the rest of it for Sunday chat?
I'll save it for Sunday's chat.
Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for Go Home Gertie's initial thoughts on the Loot Train Battle, Spoils of War episode, Season 7, Episode 4. We will be back Sunday with Tana Ford and Dave Worry, W4RRI on Twitter, from Westeros Wheneverly. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are about to start our rebroadcast of Luke, Ben, and Glenn's initial takes as well. So hang out in the chat. I know I'll be there. And follow us on Twitter at NoOneDrink. Send us an email at noonedrink@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, leave comments, and all that fun stuff on iTunes and on YouTube. And until next time,
as always, I still don't know, so I'll just drink.
And as always, stay imaginary.
How do you know this?
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Oh, it's me. I have to click buttons. Button. I've got buttons.
Do you want to take the intro this time?
Let's play the music. You're hosting.
Okay, fair enough.
Ready?
Hello, and welcome to the podcast that drinks and knows things. We're here discussing Season 7, Episode 4 of Game of Thrones, The Spoils of War. I'm your host tonight, Ben. Along with me is Glenn and Luke.
Hey. Howdy.
And here's the thing, we got no one else joining us tonight, which, not yet. We may have some surprise calling guests. But, all right, Luke, as he pours out our drinks tonight, what are we drinking?
We are drinking a couple themed drinks. We have Strongbow Gold Apple Hard Cider. There's a couple references in there for this episode. And we are also drinking limited series Dark Horse Rose Wine. There's another couple references in that one as well.
Yes, there is. I actually missed the rose wine part too. That's fitting.
Yes. Yeah. We'll analyze that as we go.
Very nice. So I did want to make, before we get started, I did want to make one quick correction that I was called out on by one of our listeners, which I would give full credit to. We had said that in the description that Cersei made a new ally, and we had said it was Euron Greyjoy and the Greyjoy fleet. We forgot to mention, or we forgot that it was actually the Tarleys that ended up becoming their new allies, because we're next seeing them riding with them to Highgarden.
For last episode?
For last episode. So like I said, just a quick, it was one of those he called me out on, and I was like, okay.
Fans, you're always welcome to call us out, because we do a lot more drinking than we do knowing. So
we don't really
let
know
us know.
Lot, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, we drink better than we know. So let us know what you know.
Exactly. All right, Glenn, do you want to give us a recap of what happened last episode on the Previously On?
Yeah. 1 second. So previously on Game of Thrones, remember the dagger? I bet is now going to be important. Oh, and Qyburn has a ballista. Thanks, Hot Pie. You suck, Theon. Grey Worm bamboozled. Oh, no more money. Queen of Thorns out, bitches.
All right. So this episode discussion or description provided by HBO. It's nice and lengthy. The Lancers pay their debts. Daenerys weighs her options, and Arya comes home. So we get the show opening. Was there anything new on the title screen this week, guys?
Nothing that I noticed. But before we do anything else new, let's cheers. Let's drink and start knowing.
Yeah.
somebody clings.
All
All right,
right.
I gotta get my laptop open. I didn't notice anything on the title screen. I think we definitely consolidated some overall. Was there anything specific for the Rose Road or anything like that?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. I don't. I wasn't really paying attention, but
Yeah, I didn't notice.
No,
I wouldn't be. I don't think there really is anything changed.
No, I don't think so. We're still
unless
seeing
like
pretty much
High
dragons.
Garden or Castle Rock were on there, but I didn't see him. But
No, I don't think so.
I doubt it.
Like the only ones I think we're seeing so far this season is Dragonstone, King's Landing, Old Town. Well, I think that's pretty much all we've.
yeah, it seems like we've
So,
consolidated quite a bit
yeah, we have.
Exactly. So
for the kids at home.
the kids
for the
at
kids
home.
at home.
We have.
all right. Much starts off. What was our first scene?
Jamie and Braun, who still wants his castle. Randall Tarley keeping the train a moving.
All right, I did like with that one. Braun's, his first thing is like, "Yeah, how about I get my payment?" And James is like, "Well, you got your bag of gold castle. How about that one? That one seems available." It's like, I love bringing Braun back. He's one of
Yeah.
since they got rid of the Queen of Thorns. We definitely need some smart asses left. Yes, it's a little toasty in here on this nice.
This recording studio is stifling.
Yes.
All right. So I definitely. Jamie was a little more pissy about Joffrey's death than I would have expected. Like he goes a long time. Clearly not free because he can't. But I don't know. Does it seem like it fits where he's at as a character right now to see how upset he is?
He's still shaken about the whole.
I think he's
the
more
knowledge.
pissed that Tyrion's taking the blame, and even he thought with it because I'm pretty sure Tyrion tells him, "Yeah, I killed your fucking son," as
Right.
he runs off in this. And so Jamie's thinking this whole time, and then to find out, oh shit, he didn't, and now we're basically going head to head because he's with Dany.
Mhm.
Shit. So I think it's more Tyrion based than Joffrey based because
Okay.
now if it was Tommen, yeah, there'd be a difference. But even Jamie, has been in the past of, yeah, it's a son, but at the same time,
He knows he was
He's a
kind of a
cunt.
monster.
yeah,
And I think this is like kind of the last thing he needs is Braun to just be pestering him about, I need this and that, and it kind of reminds me of like when Braun was with Tyrion. Then eventually he's like, well, if I'm still going to be in your services, you're going to have to kind of up the ante a bit.
Right. If I'm just going for the highest bidder, and that what you're asking me to do, that price is going up because I'm
Yeah.
clearly getting better at it. I mean, he's been good at it, and
yeah,
he's just-
Braun of the Blackwater or whatever the fuck you were before that.
whatever hovel you
Yeah.
crawled up.
All right, now we move on to King's Landing, and Cersei and the Iron Banker are having a nice little discussion. Iron Bank is very interested in getting their lump sum payment. However, I can understand they're not quite too thrilled about it because now they don't get the interest over the course of years and years.
Right.
So,
They definitely seemed very interested in getting their payment as a lump sum.
yes, and then wanting to make sure, well, we're here to fund you some more,
Right.
so we can
Yeah,
get
we got to keep that line going.
exactly.
Any thoughts on?
Just another shot of the map.
It's the map. It's the map. It's the map.
It's just one of them things that they made it at the beginning of the season. Like we need to have as many scenes with this
Yeah.
fucking map as we can.
This costs us $15,000. God damn it!
We got
Right.
the best painters from
That's
Italy
so-
over
yeah.
here.
We had to cut back on the Nymeria budget just to get this fucking map. It does look good, but
It
they're
does,
definitely.
yeah.
Have we seen it every episode now?
No, this is only the second time I think.
Couple
We've seen it.
times.
This is the third time at least.
2 or 3.
Okay.
But
3 max.
I'm glad that they got Mark Gaddis back for this role. Mark Gaddis, who's
Who the fuck is Mark Gaddis?
Oh,
people
the
that know Mark
banker.
Gaddis, but he's like a producer and a writer for Sherlock and for Doctor Who.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
people who
yeah.
know him. Like, for the kids at home and Glenn, that's who he is.
Fuck off.
I have
And
no clue either. On
he
that
was.
one, so.
I mean, the first time we saw him in the show, it's been that same actor the whole time, which I like that they're continuing with. This is clearly the Westerosi throne representative,
The
liaison for the Iron Bank. I like that they've stuck with the same guy.
I was gonna say they're pretty good about that, but no, they're really not.
Yeah,
They'll recast
they
somebody.
still
in a
use
fucking
the Dick on Rick on joke because no one knows either of those characters. It's Dickon.
Later. We'll get to that.
Oh boy!
All right, we move on up to Winterfell. Moving on up. Luke, what happened up there?
Okay, so we go. This scene includes Littlefinger or Microfinger, Bran, and Mira. And Microfinger gives Bran the dagger, and Mira goes home. So I didn't expect Microfinger to give the dagger to Bran Dog. Like I get it now, but I think we already debated whether it was going to be given to Arya as some kind of leverage on Sansa, trying to create chaos.
Exactly.
On that, I just didn't see it going to him.
Well, he automatically assumed since Bran's up, like Sansa did, he's Lord of Winterfell. I need to get my little fingers into him and do whatever I can. So he probably took it as, hey, I'm giving this cool ass knife to this boy, not knowing that Bran knows. He doesn't drink, but he knows. He knows. Yes, So it's one of those of. Yeah, and my favorite scene, my favorite part was just Bran's like, "Chaos is a ladder," and you see fucking Microfinger just automatically go ghost. Just
it took him a second to kind of realize. Yeah. It was like, oh, he knows my tagline. That's not a good thing. Oh no! It's like an infomercial. How do I use the hamper?
It's like chaos is a ladder, you smarmy fuck.
Yeah.
I got a question. Like, what else would Microfinger do though? Like, he's probably just a desperate man trying to do something to get in the good graces of Bran. What else that he could do to do that? I think give the dagger would probably be the best.
No,
it's
thing you can think of. Off,
it's definitely his best move. I just didn't see it coming for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I think the Microfinger, he's throwing out the testing the waters and seeing how solidified Sansa is as the actual ruler. I think he's still on her side entirely. Yeah. I think he's testing the water to see if Bran is going to be another obstacle like Jon was. So
just covering all his bases.
Right. And hey, if I can get in good graces of another powerful person around here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know.
No, I definitely see that. I think like I said, he's trying to get his fingers in everywhere he can, and he's one that he'll stir shit up. This isn't gonna work for him. I think he sees his time is ending as soon as Jon gets back. I think he knows his time's up, and he's got to make a strong play as fast as he can. That's what he's working for.
Sure. So, any final thoughts on Bran and Micro? Mira walks in on them, which creates an awkward.
And the Mira walks in.
She opens the door while they're still talking.
Yeah, and that's what.
And he Microfinger gets
then he leaves.
And then he leaves.
Yeah.
Right after she gets there. But so what'd you think about that whole scene there, Glendog?
Just one of those, Bran just not showing any affection or anything. It's just like, okay, well, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So I think Bran has changed, but not for the better.
No, I agree. And actually, coming up later on this, I think that's reminiscent of all three Stark kids left. They've all changed, and maybe not all for the better, or they've all lost their kindness, I guess you can say, is the best way to put it. Again, we'll get into Sansa, but Bran, for as much work as Mira did, basically saving your life, you're a dick.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all you got to say.
I get it. He's not the same person at all. But anything, if you have all these other memories, you should still understand what it's like to kind of legitimate thing, not like, oh, these are the social niceties that I have to do.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank your brother for letting himself die. And thank you. It was
right.
It was a little much.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
But I get why he's is that way.
It was like Forrest Gump whenever he saves Bubba from Vietnam or whatever, and he's just like, well, if I'd have known that had been the last time I'd have talked to him, I'd have thought of something better to say. And he just says, like, hey, Bubba.
Hey, Bubba.
I mean, it's not really similar, but it's kind of similar.
Yeah, and they had showed seeds of her falling in love with him while they were north and everything, and it was kind of one of those. And so it's just you see that double heartbreak of first of all she helped this guy, and second she fell in love with him,
right?
And now it's like
plus after everybody that's journey.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. I think-
Hodor.
Hold the door.
Yeah. Cheers, Hodor. Sorry.
I definitely think in the books they play up the Bran having a crush on Mira card a lot more.
I
So
think of the show though just flipped it around.
yeah, a little bit because I think he was so distracted in general, and they didn't have enough time to develop that and have him really get that complex.
Exactly.
Whenever Mira says, "My brother died for you," and then goes on to talk about Hodor and Summer, I thought it was a little weird because Jojen was like the main driver for wanting him to go north of the wall. Like if he knew that was gonna he was giving his life for this. He went into that knowing that because every time there was trouble, he'd be like, "Today is not the day that I die," because he knew, strong inkling that he's not gonna survive after getting Bran to his destination, at least in the show.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was kind of weird. Like, yeah, Hodor and Summer definitely died specifically for him. Jojen went in knowing he was going to.
Exactly.
But Bran died in that cave. I mean, he really did. She pulled out the three-eyed raven, the Raven, blood raven.
Yeah. No, definitely.
My last thing about this one is I just got a quick question. Like, do you think we'll see Mira again, or do you think the show will just kind of write her off? Just goes home.
The
and then...
only thing I foresee them seeing again is if she shows back up north or at the wall with Holland Reed to help John out, but use Holland as the basically person who tells the story of John to John, because he was there. He was the only one that was there.
Right.
Bran can tell him, but John be like, "No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it." And then finally, they're at the wall, end of the season, and Mira shows up. "Hey, this is my dad, Holland. He knew your father," and that kind of thing. That's the only that's pure. I know again, pure speculation, but
normally that's a speculation thing, but I think it fits right here because unlikely that Holland Reed's going to come back. I don't think they even named him in the flashback scene to Tower of Joy. I don't think they gave that. I don't think they said it at all. I mean, in that scene they didn't. They maybe in the credits.
You definitely know it was him.
I mean, we definitely know that it was him, but
I thought Bran said that's Mira's father.
I'll have to check it. I don't remember, but I mean, if that's the case, then that changes my answer a little bit.
Listeners, if you know, send us a text or send us a tweet.
Definitely. But I would like to see him again. Yeah, and I would like for that to turn into somehow humanizing Bran back a bit. Yeah, because he's gone way in the deep end at this point because he has to. But I'm hoping that whenever he maybe gets his hands around what he can do and gets used to being the three-eyed raven, that he can be human again a little bit.
Seems more like the three-eyed Craven at this point.
Craven.
All right, Arya shows up. Glenn.
Arya infiltrates Winterfell. Basically, she tries to get in. There's these two dickhead guards that stop her and they're like, "No, you're some little dick girl." Like,
I like your name. See, mine was I did find it funny that it was basically an exact mock or when she was at the Red Keep right when she was out chasing the cat and she was talking to the guards and Eddard Stark, I'm Arya. She can fuck off.
A line that probably gets said a lot of times from gutter rats or whatever, trying to get away with
the
stuff.
boy that cried wolf.
Exactly.
Right.
So and then Sansa, or later on, basically Arya like, "I didn't run away from your guards.
Yeah,
I just walked. I walked."
Yeah. So my first note on this is Brian. 2 episodes was wrong. Sucks to be wrong. He might be calling in here shortly, and I'll let him know again. But yeah, I mean, I definitely saw where she could have, after the Nymeria scene, turned around because I see that being something that the show would do. But I'm really surprised that she made it to Winterfell and actually got in and started. I like that she had trouble getting. That was pretty funny. I really liked this scene because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And those guards were hilarious. I thought they were
off.
Yeah. So you best be fucking off sharply.
All right, we move on after Arya sneaked away.
Sneak attack.
The two guards let Lady Sansa know of an intruder in the knows exactly who it is. Heads down to the crypts to find her sister looking at their father's statue. Basically, it was a very sweet scene. You see them both kind of. Remember last time I saw you, I didn't like you, but holy shit, I missed the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
And but that look that Sansa gave her when she said, "Oh, I was gonna kill the queen," or she's on my list, and what's your list? Kill, and like that pause of, okay, you're fucking with me. you know, kind of thing. And you know that look, you know that feeling. It's like, okay, yeah,
That was
whatever,
an outlandish
smart.
thing to say.
Yeah, that was, you know, funny. Ha, ha,
It's
ha.
jokes. It's
Yeah,
jokes.
It's all jokes.
Yeah, like, and Arya's reaction, Sansa, because it's not a joke to
No.
Arya at all.
Well, she did
And-
the same thing with the Lannister men. With,
Oh, yeah,
with
absolutely.
Ed
Ed Sheeran.
With Ed Sheeran.
With Ed Sheeran and the Lannister men, his new group. Yeah, no, like, I really like that Arya is kind of having to relearn like the social niceties of going around planning to kill everyone. So it's kind of funny to see her start to react to people
Yeah.
realizing that about her.
Well, you can't kill everyone.
You just can't go out there and kill them all. But yeah, neither had pleasant paths to this point. But I like that their stories aren't over.
Exactly.
I thought that was a neat little.
A big part of this scene is they're standing next to Ned Stark's statue, and they have a little line about, well, that doesn't look like Ned at all.
That ain't my daddy. The Hicks of
But,
Winterfell.
yeah,
And in
they-
fairness, actually, it had the head shape right, at least. You know,
yeah, there's been worse statues out there.
Yeah.
We can all agree on that.
Yeah, it was Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
pretty bad.
Pretty rough.
All right, then we move on to the Godswood. What's going on over there?
So Arya is reunited with Bran and the Godswood, and reunited, and it feels kind of good but awkward.
A little less awkward, I think.
I think Arya's awkward enough to kind of meet him in the middle.
Yes.
Is where it's at. Sansa's way on the
On the normal side,
She's
yeah.
on the normal. Like
Yeah.
Like, she gave her that hug.
Yeah. And I noticed in that scene, if we go back once, Arya didn't really hug her back. She
No,
got
she
got
didn't.
wrapped around
Yeah.
by Sansa. I just thought that was like
She
initially.
accepted the hug, but she wasn't.
She wasn't
for
fighting it, but she didn't offer.
Yeah.
But definitely Arya went after Bran with the hug. Like she was like, you know what,
I saw
really
Sansa
sorry.
now I'm a hugger.
I'm gonna start hugging people because it was.
Well, also,
it
if
was
you
cool.
remember, she doesn't know Bran's alive. She
Yeah.
had no clue. Like, at least we know for coming up on, but we already know John knows Bran's alive. He mentions it on the next on. We know he's alive. John knows he's alive. Sansa knew he was
in
alive.
the next episode.
But I'm just saying.
But he's dead.
But Arya had
died in the
no
dark.
inclination, nothing, until she's literally standing in Winterfell and they say, Bran's alive. The last she had heard was both her brothers were killed. For that reaction, that makes a bit more sense. She knew Sansa was still alive. She knew she was somewhere doing something.
Glenn, you got any other thoughts on Bran?
Bran. He saw Arya at the crossroads, which kind of takes Arya back, a double take.
Were
But
you with Popeye?
he doesn't say anything about her getting raped or anything like that.
So
and,
maybe
he, and, he
he's
know-
getting better.
and he knows about the list.
Yeah, which then
Which
shows.
Sansa doesn't know about the list, but Bran does.
Yeah, but now Sansa believes in the list. Since Bran mentioned it, she's like, "Oh shit, you weren't joking."
Yeah, I like that Bran is kind of spitting the truth for everyone here. Like, Sansa seems like she might be a little worried that she could be on the list. Like initially, because like their previous,
Yeah, tell me who's on the list.
Yeah.
right? She's like,
yeah.
I don't know. She definitely seems worried about something.
Screech is on the
And
list.
we'll get into that, I think, in a little bit here as well, because I have more thoughts later on. But they definitely play up the micro finger. Seems to be playing at something else, a new scheme for him. And what do you guys think of
Yeah.
Arya's and Sansa's reaction to the dagger gift?
The micro dagger.
The micro
dagger gift.
I mean, I think it was the right move on all their parts of basically Sansa calling out, you can't trust him. There's no good to come of it. Bran basically saying, yeah, I fucking know. And Bran also saying, here, kill her. Take this because I don't need it. You're going to use
Yeah,
it. And
he
it's
says something along the lines of, "Don't need this kind of thing."
It's wasted
it's
on a
wasted
cripple.
on a cripple.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Moving on. All right, then we Bran and Pod.
Yeah, so Bran and Pod see the Stark children walking through Winterfell, and they're reunited. Pod acknowledges to Brienne that she had kept her promise to Catelyn of keeping the Stark girls safe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we see more of Brienne like not accepting it at first, but I think finally coming to terms that
Yeah.
hey, there are children that I was
Yeah.
asked to protect and at least get somewhere safe. I didn't really play my part like I thought, but it's happened,
Exactly.
and I played my part for what I could.
I didn't not do it.
I did my best, and it all got to where they were hoping to.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you could see Bran kind of softening, especially to Pod now, where he's like,
Mhm.
you did it, my lady. I'm not
Yeah.
She's just kind of
Yeah.
like, all right,
They are
I'll-
both
About to
very
tell them to
good
fuck
for
off.
each other.
yes,
Because Pod's really good at kind of telling her in a way that she needs to hear it, because she does need to hear that she can give herself some credit on the things that she does well, because she's really hard on herself. And she's also giving Pod what he needs to develop as well.
exactly. All right. Any other notes for Winterfell at this time?
It's nice to see the reunion.
Long time
the
coming.
reunion
Seven,
tour continuing.
7 years coming, or 7 years strong.
Yeah, but what was the last time they saw
episode
each
2.
other together?
Those 3,
right,
and then episode 10 of season 1
for the girls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ned's head.
Yeah, Ned's head. So, all right, moving on. We head on down to the southeast, and we head to Dragonstone, where Dany is walking down the steps talking to Miss Sandy as they're heading to talk to Jon near the Dragonglass Caverns. Miss Sandy shows that she's a little worried about the Unsullied and how they're doing because, well, we know what happened last week, and she finally got her some.
Kind of.
Enough, and
She got
so
something.
my favorite
She got some contact company.
Yeah.
Contact.
my favorite thing was
Scissor me timbers.
with
Cheers to Shiver Me Timbers.
Scissors me timbers.
Scissors me
Oh, scissors. That's even better.
Scissors me timbers.
Oh,
my favorite
man, the
thing
best
was-
lesbian couple in the show. Fence Yara at all.
I was gonna say, yeah. So, basically, Dany says, "What kind of things happened?" Many things.
Many things.
It's like, yes, good on you, Miss Sandy. Good on
Yeah,
you.
they're just having girl talk. Just
They're
exactly
chatting it up,
hinting at
girl
girl
talk.
talk.
Yeah,
Jon Snow interrupts him though
Yeah,
with the, "I got something to show you guys."
yeah, and it wasn't just himself.
Yeah.
Hey, join me in this cave real quick. We've all used that line.
right. Hey, it worked once.
Out on a
Hey.
float trip, right?
Hey, there's this cave over here
Let's go check out this sparkling hot spring.
where nobody's around. They can hear you.
That just got creepier.
Yeah.
I think the sexual tension is mounting. There tight spaces and intriguing looks between these two.
Yeah.
Dany and Jon, that is.
Anybody else notice the Jurassic Park semi
yeah,
theme?
yeah.
John Williams much. I
Yes.
just, when we were watching it last night, I was like, oh, that's a different song.
And then, so John leads her into the cave of
Jon Snow, not John Williams.
John
Yes.
Goldblum.
Yeah.
John Goldblum. He does a great Jeff Goldblum impression.
Dany in the cave wanders there to show her the little fancy hand drawings. What she didn't notice was the one that says Jon Snow's got the big dick. Just saying. But the one thing I did notice or came upon was the shapes that those drawings were in, bodies and all that kind of stuff that we're seeing that the whites are leaving and the White Walkers are leaving behind up north, and all those geographical.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Symbols.
That
Yeah.
symbolism has been kind of all over the place. It seems like.
That stuck out of me for this scene was, in particularly, the paintings of the Night's King and the White Walkers.
Yeah.
How detailed they were, and I think the eyes were even blue as well.
Yes, they were.
The colored portion
Yeah.
was the blue paint.
Yeah.
They had only white
So I
except
don't
for a
know,
little bit of blue.
It seems like Danny's, you maybe just slightly of maybe these things are real, or
Yeah, I definitely thought the scene where she starts to believe, and they kind of have some of those looking, glances at each other, and she tries to convince him, like, hey, I will fight for you. I will fight for you, not with you. She says, I will fight for you
Yes.
if you bend the knee. But then she goes on to say that, your people chose you to make the right decisions. And I get where she's coming from. And I think that was like the point where it really looked like, considering like, well, what if you and I hooked up? Like, what if we
is
just
that
got
considered
married?
bending
Like,
the knee?
yeah, I mean, bending the knee in the bedroom. Is
Getting
that,
the Lord's kiss.
there you go. Yeah, he's good at that one.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a pretty interesting way that they could take that with the way the conversation went. At least.
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
Finished in the Dragonglass cave, we think. Or
Yeah,
any other
so what's our
thoughts?
next scene
It's a good
there?
scene.
All right, our next
Luke.
scene includes Tyrion and Varys. They meet us outside the Dragonglass cave, and Dany learns about the bait and switch of Casterly Rock. So you could tell Dany's kind of tired of these clever plans. She's done
She actually says
with
it.
cleverness, and
Yeah.
seems like she wants to go off the deep end of let's start roasting bitches now, burn the Red Keep, take what's mine, like because she knows it'll work. This what they're doing now. They haven't even actually fought anything. Their biggest allies, at least Westeros, all 3 Westerosi allies that they had.
Sure.
So interesting turn of events for her.
No, definitely. It's one. Here, too far.
Where you want me to go?
Yes, please go.
Yeah. My thing about this one is, I think she's been kind of listening to Tyrion for a while, and now she's kind of seeing that he's come up with these clever schemes and plans, but they're just not working.
A little too good to be
so
true.
I think he's just
I think she's headed up to here
done.
With him,
yeah,
like up to the waist,
up to his forehead, other people's waists. But
sorry, Peter.
She's just not
half man.
She's like that quarterback or somebody that just like plays really bad. So we're gonna put in the backup. He's gonna sit the bench the rest of the season. It's kind of, I see what's happening is she just doesn't even care about what it says anymore, and she's asking John's opinion now.
Yeah, and I think she leans heavily. Her leaning on John's opinion definitely, goes to show that she is starting to respect him, and she knows that, he knows the land just as well and everything, and so, you do this, you'll win, but you won't win anybody over. And it goes a long way to kind of building their relationship up.
Yeah, I thought it was really harsh of her to say, Tyrion, maybe you don't want to hurt your family. Like that was.
But I mean, honestly, you can see, it could be the long in her head. It could be a long
she didn't
time.
see what it was like for him, so that's fine.
He's
and
got stories,
she already kind of has issues with trusting Varys as well. So like those are the only 2 telling the good stories about the other, at this point. Yeah. So it's all right. That's probably fair. I do like when she has John's opinion. She kind of was like, you know what? I don't give a shit about how this is supposed to go. I'm losing. I need help. And yeah, he's clearly gained her trust enough that he has gotten his position on merit. And we'll get into how he's finally realizing that about her later on. But his main note to her or thought to her is, don't be a mad Targaryen. Like, it'll work, but it's just
exactly.
It's not the right way to win the kingdom.
No, definitely. So, all right. Any more thoughts on Dragonstone?
Overall,
good scene.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
One drink up.
Yes.
The kids at home.
I'm taking a drink.
All right, we move on. Moving back on up. Moving on up to Winterfell, where we see Brienne, Pod, and Arya in the yard. Pod and Brienne are
in the yard.
Some routines, are working on some defensive tactics when Arya approaches. So, Glenn, what happened then?
Yeah, so pretty much Pod's still getting his ass kicked. Arya kind of interrupts and says, "Hey, I want to train with you." So, ipso facto, Arya then spars with Bree. Arya water dances like no one has done before. Thoughts on this one?
Nice. Was Arya with the thickest of plot armor. She's so strong she can defeat Brienne. It's one of those. It's like I love her to death. Arya is probably my favorite character. It's my favorite storyline. But it's like, come on. I mean, I get it. You're like the super ninja now, but really, I think also Brienne was holding back because you could still see it because she got her with that kick and was like, all right, But I mean, she shocked her when she popped right back up. So it's kind of one of those. You're seeing that Arya will be a force to reckon with. What's number one reason why she was my number 1 pick in the fantasy round or in the fantasy draft.
Nice.
So,
I definitely like that. Arya's holding her own. She's setting the tone for, I can legitimately fight. And it comes back. It reminds me of the scene back at, there was like some stream where Arya and the Hound were practicing sword fight. Because, he was basically saying like, who are you going to kill with that little teeny tiny sword?
Yeah.
Big guy, big sword, I'll win is what he's getting at.
Yeah.
And she talks about the water dancer, Syrio Farrell. And so he has like the whole line of, how did I? He didn't have a sword. The greatest swordsman in the world didn't have a fucking sword. Who killed him? Meryn Trant. Meryn fucking Trant.
What does he say? He says like, Meryn Trant's hair is greasier than Joffrey's
cunt. That's one of my favorite scenes of the entire show. And this kind of got me back in that where she is using this little teeny tiny sword.
Yes.
And she is standing up to someone who we've seen is just as good or better than the Hound.
Exactly.
And at least.
Yes, no,
And
yeah.
she's holding her own. I mean, I don't care if Brienne's even doing 65% because it's training or whatever, or she doesn't have the Valyrian steel blade like she did earlier. Arya's still doing some pretty damn impressive things.
And I think she impresses Bree.
Absolutely.
And Brienne definitely has never seen anything like that before.
No, yeah, she didn't know what to expect. She legit had the look of, damn, I probably would have died. Just, I probably could have died here.
Yeah. I like that. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, that was it.
I like that when Arya walks up and Pod's like saying something and Brienne's like giving advice like, don't do this, don't charge, don't lunge. And Arya like cuts her off mid lesson saying, don't fight someone like her.
Yeah.
Because she's a fucking badass.
And then,
because she's like, I saw her defeat the Hound. And that's.
Yeah. And then on top of that, right after that, Brienne goes, nice dagger. And
she goes, nice sword.
Yeah,
really nice dagger.
That's right. Really nice dagger. And Arya whips out the dagger and does the finger twirl. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's going to be good.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it just looks natural. She just, shout out to her training or something, but it just looks natural for her having that micro dagger.
Yeah.
Right.
It looks like it's supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. Arya's whole mentality of, I like killing, and killing is what I like. Like, I like the way that I like her confidence.
Yes.
It suits her.
And now on the flip side of that coin, at the same time, we didn't mention this, but Sansa and Microfinger decide to come and take a look over the balcony and see what's going on. And, Sansa has this look about her, like, what has she become? Like kind of realizing after what Brandon said, what she had told her, it's kind of one of those of like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I have a question about that to both of you.
Yeah.
So Sansa looks worried. So my question is she scared of Arya's skill and attitude that goes along with that? Like that she's really good at killing people and likes to kill? Or he a little bit more worried about what Arya brings to the table,
like
at
power,
Winterfell,
like power,
political power, and like clearly people like her. Littlefinger seems impressed. Brienne seems impressed. People that are directly sworn to Sansa.
I could see Sansa having that worry, knowing Arya, she doesn't give a shit about that. So it's one of those I don't coming, but I could see Sansa having that kind of thought process of, could she be a danger to me? Could she be a threat?
Political threat.
Political threat.
So I guess the simple version of my question is she worried about, or a little bit selfishly power-wise?
I think it's more emotionally. I think it's just, scared of what she's become or worried about what she's become because she knew her little sister, her little tomboy sister, but now
fun and games back then.
Yeah. Now she's a goddamn ninja, and it's like, okay, that's kind of creepy, And at the same time, if Arya knew exactly what Sansa went through and could see what she even said, that suits you, the lady thing suits you, so she sees it, and I think it's more Sansa just accepting, like the worriedness, but it's more just accepting of, okay, that's who she is.
Right, Glenn, you got thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Arya is just like she's came a long way, and like she's gonna do what she wants to do, and I think Sansa realizes that she's not gonna be able to tell her, what to do and what they need to do. Like Arya's just gonna do her own thing. I think she's not gonna listen to Sansa. Right. So that's my big thought on that one.
So this scene with Arya looking at Microfinger, they make eye contact, and Microfinger looks a little impressed, but maybe also worried. And then he walks away, or Arya kind of looks like she might be targeting him a bit.
Yeah,
I don't know. Did you guys catch that too?
She kind of had this look like, and I'm going to steal a line from Chris Jericho, like, you just made the list, kind of look, of just wait till Bran tells her the lowdown and dirty, and it's going to be, Micro ain't less than.
I don't think he's got a whole lot of.
No.
Yeah.
I think he's realizing that too.
I wonder if he's gonna, try to get it all like he's done with everybody.
I think
he might as well just talk to no one.
Exactly. He's gonna. Oh, by the way, who taught you how to?
Yeah.
It was just accepted. It was just
she water danced like no one has before.
No one could have saw that one coming. It's like Pee-wee's big playhouse, like the magic worker. No one, yeah! For the kids at home.
For the kids at home
who don't know, Pee Wee Herman was.
Google
it. Google movie theater Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry,
Pee Wee in the theaters.
All right. We're back down to Dragonstone, and John and Davos are heading down the stairs again, those long ass winding stairs, and they run into Miss Sandy. At this time, Davos decides to give John a little grammar lesson to John and Miss Sandy, and kind of let him know what a bastard is. And because of all the callbacks we're getting to the first season, we get another "I'm a bastard" from John.
Yeah.
Which I was like, all right, rock on. But it's a nice little scene between Miss Sandy, John, and asking, how Miss Sandy feels and everything like that. His feelings on that one.
Basically, we learn that Noth has no bastards. And then also, Davos are asking the tough questions to Missandei about, well, what if this or that, and with your queen, if you wanted to go back home to Noth, tomorrow, basically inadvertently kind of saying like, you're still kind of
like, she bought you. Are you really still a slave, or are you actually free? Like, how do you actually think about that?
Because I mean, in her head, that she probably does think, yeah, I'm completely free to go. But from their point of view, well, we came here freely. We came here to talk. We couldn't,
right,
you know. And so it's kind of one of those of, yeah, you might think you can, but will you really go? No, she probably say exactly,
or at least guilt her into staying.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say too, John, as Davos would come down, John's like, we have less men than everybody else.
Yeah, Stannis. So Stannis action. That cracked me up last night.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud at that because, I mean, we start this entire show in 2, I guess, when we meet Davos.
Yes.
And he's illiterate. He can't read, and he gets called out by Stannis, who's a book learned man, on using words improperly. Less and fewer was a big one.
Yes, because that was brought up at least 2 times.
There were 2 different times that we saw Stannis use that same line.
Yeah. It was, and so for Davos to pull it out, it's like,
he got it. Yeah, that's a hand of the king right there.
He's learning.
And
that's why we're drinking Strongbow hard apple ciders, award-winning, no artificial flavors or colors, and gluten-free.
Hey, gluten-free. Buy it at your local grocery store, like we did.
Can't buy alcohol at your local liquor
store. Then
stores.
go to your liquor store.
Go to your liquor store.
If you're one of the kids at home.
Or go to the drive-through gas stations. So I like that, Davos, calls him King Snow. He's like, that doesn't have a good ring to it.
King
John.
Like,
King John.
What do we call you?
He's like, it's not something I'm going to worry about. I just don't care. He's definitely the let's get things done and stop worrying about this.
All
shit.
business,
Yeah. And then John follows it up with I'm sorry about the slavery thing. Which he was like, I was sold into slavery as a child. He's like,
I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
It's like,
sorry about it.
And I like that we start seeing the script being flipped on how he perceives Dany's claim to the throne, because he thought it was only lineage based. Some rich girl with a very, very well-known, powerful name. But talking to Missandei, I think he actually is believing her and kind of seeing that they did choose her, and yeah, they're not Westerosi, and they're not are the same people here, but they do believe in her, and they've seen her do great things.
Yeah, no, and I think he kind of had that same feeling, because that's how he was chosen. It was they chose him because not of who he is, but it's because of what he's done, and he's seen that she actually is kind of like that in me, and everything. I do love.
They're really starting to meet somewhere in the middle. They're definitely starting to see each other in different lights.
And then Davos with the line of the meeting of, forgive me if I switch sides. It's like, you've already done it once. Do you want to keep pushing your luck here?
I wouldn't say it was really switing sides.
Well, fine.
His king died and went with the next best option.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Anybody else? Oh, well, then we got a quick new scene down by the waterfront. Get some Greyjoy men, some Krakens floating to shore. They're being led by his name?
Theon.
Theon, thank you.
The former Prince of Winterfell.
The former Prince of Winterfell meets the King in the North. So, Glenn, how'd you feel about this?
Yeah, basically Theon comes up, and John doesn't really know the whereabouts of Theon, I think, at this point. He's really wants to kick his ass, but he can't because, he knows what he did for Sansa. So it's just one of those where, I fucking hate you, but I can't do anything about it.
Right.
And it's just was it the second episode in a row where you just have a brief Theon scene
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, because they had the one
They just
pulling him
kinda-
out of the water, and
yeah.
now they've reached
Kind of
shore.
touch on Theon for a
Exactly.
second.
You know, and then
I definitely
no,
go-
no, go
so I think Theon seems
Theon.
themes genuinely, honest about his caring about Sansa, and not like in a weird or anything more than like brotherly. I don't know. I got that feel that he was going to be, in the shitter in John's eyes, but that's like the only card that he can play is like hopefully John knows what I've done for Sansa, and
He's
like he knows it's his only card to John,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I do think he genuinely seemed worried about Sansa.
after all that's happened, like it seems like he's towards others.
yes,
Instead of,
no,
you know,
oh
just
yeah, he's no longer
cocky
the
prick.
smiler.
He's been a little bit humbled over the years. Is that
Yeah.
fair to say?
Yeah, I just say he's
One
not
could say
as much
that.
of a dick.
Not as much.
Not
dick,
quite
yeah.
as much of a dick
Exactly.
in any way.
And then him basically, Theon asking, I came to talk to the queen to get her help to get Yara back, or Asha, whatever the hell she is in the show. And John's like, well, she's not here. And everybody, including the audience, is like,
Where'd she go?
Right, where is she?
and that leads us to somewhere near the Blackwater Rush on the far side.
We take a real quick break. I'm sweating my ass off down here.
Okay, because we are
Before
getting
we get into this huge,
this is a big scene coming up. So yes, give us about 4 minutes, maybe 5, and we will be back to discuss the last scene of the episode. And welcome back. So, where we left off, we had just left Dragonstone, talking to John and Theon. Theon asking, "Where's the queen? Where's the queen?
where's the queen?
Where is she?" Well, Glenn, why don't you tell us who the queen is?
Okay, so the gold is delivered to King's Landing. It's set upon a horde and much more. So basically, this scene you see is on what I think this whole thing just kind of reminds me of the Oregon Trail, where you have all these wagons that are caravanning, across, the plains, and then I think there's like another Jamie and Braun, and I think they're talking to Rickon. Rickon,
It's sticking.
Sticking.
but then all of a sudden you just hear like all this like commotion, all this noise. And they're like, "What the hell is that?" Like,
Oh, there's a storm coming in.
there's a storm a brewing.
Swords and shields, swords and spears, or spears and shields, spears and shields. That's it.
But then we find out that it's the Dothraki horde, along with Daenerys on Drogon.
Yeah, I like when this opens up and it's Dickon, Bronn, and Jamie, and Bronn clearly laughs at Dickon's name. Like he's like
Dick.
He's like Rickon, right? He's like, I was like, it's so funny. And he's like, don't they teach you things like this at fancy lad school?
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was another one that we laughed out loud at watching this fancy lad school.
lad school.
Digging me like, it was glorious. And they're like, dude, your dad's not here. Oh, I didn't expect the smell.
Yeah.
It's like, men shit when
Everybody
they die.
shits their pants when they die.
It was a really good palling around moment, really, because they know who Randall Tarley is, and we've seen him really, a lot this season too. He's about as harsh in the field as it gets. Like with how he's like real to the point, real matter of fact. This is where we're at. This is what we're doing, and he has like no emotion to him. He's just like straight up fierce, like all the time. And I think they're like, it's funny that they're kind of calling Dickon out, that they can tell that he's not quite that way. Don't give us this bullshit glorious term. Like, what
glory?
What'd you really think? We all know what our first battle was like.
Yeah,
it's fucking weird.
Coming of age,
right? I like that they just kind of cut to the core of him and be like, "Don't fuck around with us." Like we know. Like
yeah. Okay. Basically, this scene. It's like how many times in world history have you seen like an Indian army almost fighting like an army full of knights or something like that? It's just
So, if you want the historical perspective, the only thing that really I think compares is the actual the Dothraki are modeled after, and that's the Huns, the Mongol army, those kind of raiders. From the steppes in Asia that invaded into Europe, the Vandals, all of those barbaric type people. Like that's the only thing that even comes close, like with the invasions of Rome, and because even then it wasn't like these medieval knights, it was and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like the closest that I can think of, really.
Yeah, no, definitely. And even then, like if you ask the Romans and all them up against the Mongolians, the Huns, because they knew they would just flatten them. They'd ride roughshod, and it's pretty much exactly what happened. Except these Mongolians had a motherfucking dragon.
Yeah,
that just came. I loved how Jamie's like, "I'm not going anywhere. We can hold them off. We can do that." Hell shit.
Yeah, it's like right after he says that, like you hear like the screech of the dragon, just like coming down,
and how fucking badass did Drogon look? Like he swoops down just like feet above the horse riders' heads, and it's just like you just like see his belly hanging down. It just looks like truly fucking incredible right there.
I can almost forgive the show creators for cutting out the dire wolf budget just for the Drogon budget.
This whole scene, everything about the dragon was it was I hate to use the word that on, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome.
No, it really was. It kind of blew my mind. You see even like the small nuances of you see the buildup of fire from the back of his throat.
Yeah, the scales and like the neck flanges things,
exactly,
like frizzling out. Like it. Yeah, it was awesome. It was just cool.
The spare no expense. That's another Jurassic Park
Luke
reference.
really liked that scene.
Yeah.
the dragon.
And then the thing about like
we spared no expense.
He breathes the fire.
Yeah.
He like hits a Lannister soldiers, and like they just turn to ash
immediately.
Like
ashes and dust and motherfucking dust.
Yeah, I like.
It was impressive.
You mentioned it where he's like, we could hold them off. We can. Like, we could probably, if we hold the line, we can handle a cavalry charge. Like that's doable. That's possible. Maybe not the dragon.
Maybe not the dragon. No.
And then it turns into a total roast fest.
Yes.
And
oh God.
My question on that is, where are the celebrities and comedians for the roast? Like,
right.
It seems like that's you.
Yeah. Coming out, Jamie's like, Bron, Scorpion's over there. Bron's like, yeah, go get it. And Jamie's like, I get you with one hand. Bron's like, oh no. He goes running off,
constantly doing the Lannisters' bidding.
Yeah,
constantly.
Exactly. And but he's scampering off, gets knocked off his horse and everything. And there's just this one scene of Bron, he's bouncing back and forth, ducking and dodging and dipping. And
this is when he goes around the carriage.
Goes around the carriage, and this motherfucker comes just strolling past him, blazing fire, just walking. It's like, oh, okay,
is this Scooby Doo?
Right? And Bron just fuck. And then he's chased down by one of the blood riders.
I think it's Ricardo.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
because they don't. We lost one of the main blood riders early on because he was the show Scorpion a couple seasons ago.
Oh yeah.
But they don't because there's Jogo, there's Ago, and Ricardo. We've lost one of them. I think he died in the show because he went somewhere else, or they just don't show them ever again. But I think we saw the other two in this whole scene.
Yes.
I think that was Ricardo because he had the great Eric.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
It could be. I mean,
listeners, definitely let us know if you know which blood rider that was.
If that even was a blood rider.
Know everything.
I'm pretty sure it was. We're pretty sure
I think
it is,
but I don't know who
but
it was.
basically he chases.
No offense to that actor.
Yeah,
I thought he was.
yeah,
cool.
did
Good job.
fantastic job. You know, the skill that all the actors took, the horse riders and everything. It was, you know, doing the stand up with the shooting the arrows. You know, all the cool acrobatics and everything.
And
fighting.
the CG of all the horses looked really good too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thousands of horses.
No.
Thousands of horses.
Yeah. No, definitely not.
Thousands of horses and thousands of men couldn't put Humpty back together again.
So Rocco, we'll call him Ricaro. There we go.
Rocco's
Chases Braun
modern
chases Braun man into a nice hidden tent area, and Braun shows off the motherfucking scorpion. With one shot, sends Rocco into a brick wall, and releases the sequin weapon. And
the sequin weapon.
if anyone can name that reference, I give you full credit. Because I love that.
What do you think of the Ricaro getting hit by the bolt?
It was like the whole cat and mouse game of Rocco chasing Braun, you know, through the fiery wagons and all that, and then, you know, he finally finds him, but he's like staring down of this scorpion, and then you just kind of see the look on his face, like, oh shit, and then, you know, he shoots it and he dies.
I think he's definitely dead.
But before that, like,
for the kids at home, I think
it was like the whole.
A little hard to come back from that one.
It's like, why don't you, talking to Jamie, he's like, why don't you go get the scorpion? He's like, I got one hand. I can't possibly do that. So then Braun takes hands and, you know, goes to the scorpion.
And I like when he's running away from Ricaro gold that he was paid. He loses his payment and decides to leave it. Because when I first thought, it was like, okay, decision time. He either goes after that and is just a sellsword, or he actually goes through and knows that, you know, it's more of like the maturity thing that I think he's gained. I mean, I think he's always been himself.
Exactly.
But he realizes the position he's in now.
I mean, it's either get the money and die and possibly die, or get the fuck out.
That's the maturity. Like, he realizes the situation's bigger than him, and he has to actually play the marshal, the, you know, actual commander type card here to actually survive. Afterwards, eventually,
exactly. He knows they pay their debts. He'll get something
eventually. Maybe not.
They're all gonna die. So,
you know, so now Braun, you know, gets behind the scorpion, takes aim, fires one shot, and just misses Danny. I kind of was hopeful. No, just kidding. But no, just misses Danny on there. Instead of just lighting him up, she has to make this big arcing circle to come straight in on him. You know, okay, sure. You know, that might be the smart move. But Braun holds back, gets one more shot off.
I like, but right before the shot goes off, like, you know, we're looking from over Danny's shoulder, and you see, you know, like the clear opening in the smoke of where Braun and the scorpion are.
Because it's the one thing she didn't burn. The one wagon that wasn't burned is the scorpion.
Yeah, but I agree. That's convenient. But I like that they actually showed the opening in the smoke, which would happen because you have. You're moving again
from the wings
through the science of it.
I mean, but the wings of the dragon.
Well, no. I'm saying from the bolt that left the scorpion before. It would. If you shoot an arrow through some smoke, it's gonna pull some of that smoke out. Maybe not that much. It was maybe exaggerated.
Okay,
but I like that.
Fair enough.
At least it can be justified somewhat, not just being like, oh, here's a spotlight right on where your target is.
It's a little hole.
Like, I was thinking more Drogon came up, wings flapped, smoke clears.
No, because he was still feet back when they're doing this, and like it was just like this little tiny hole. Itty living space.
Yeah. I like how versatile the scorpion was. Is, you know, you got this dragon flying around, and Braun just kind of like moving where the dragon is.
It's pretty good design. Qyburn, good
I
work.
Thought it was going to be this
way
big heavy thing that's going to take 10 minutes to move to a different
reload.
Yeah, I'm glad that Braun was trained on how to use this thing. Like, I guess we missed that montage.
Yeah,
we got the poop soup montage. We didn't get the Braun on the scorpion montage. Well,
do you think Jamie was trained as well?
I definitely. Well,
he was shown.
One thing, it was a very maneuverable weapon. He was able to spin around and reload fairly quickly. Fucking designed that Jamie Lannister couldn't do it. You had to use both hands to crank this thing back, or maybe three men. You know, like you have one guy on each side kind of cranking the wheel,
and then one
guy kind of aiming it.
Yeah,
but a better design would be have the crank on one side. You know, it just seems like It was convenient that was the reason
No.
Jamie couldn't do it. So yes, I think he was at least around while the trading happened. I think he knew how it worked, so he knew that he couldn't do it.
Exactly.
He probably talked to Kyber ahead of time. He's like, "Hey,
For
can you
the-
make this one? I'm not the hero. That'd be great."
The introductory training.
It's just Scorpion
The
101.
mandatory
So
Scorpion training.
Danny circles around, comes head to head with Braun one more time on the Scorpion, and Braun lets go one more bolt, catching Drogon right in the shoulder and taking him down. Now I have to say, bow.
That is a strong bow.
Labels out.
We're not sponsored by Strongbow yet, but if you know them or know of them, give them a call and tell them to sponsor us.
Put in a good word.
You know, we like non-invasive sponsors, but if they give us free booze, we can drink more and act like we know things.
Exactly. So, all right.
We do like sponsors.
Yes.
That was a complete lie. We do like sponsors.
We do like sponsors. We will never say no to money, but we are doing this for free right now. So just keep that in mind. This is why we suck. Anyway, so real quick question. Was that a modified Wilhelm scream Drogon let out when he got hit with the arrow? He gets hit, and I swear to God, it sounded. And do you know what the Wilhelm scream is?
Is that the original? Like anytime there's a scream, like the
Yeah,
like the old scary like horror movies from the
it's
60s.
Well, it's even in Star Wars, like when the guy falls off.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's that scream. It's in every movie. Like
Every stormtrooper.
Like sound guys try to make it their mission to get this thing snuck into shows.
Right.
See how well they can hide it. And I think that was a modified Wilhelm scream from a damn for the damn dragon. And if that was, get in there because
Nice job, sound designer.
Nice
job,
sound
man.
sound guy. Just say. If not, then I'm just talking on my ass. But I thought it was interesting.
And if you think our sound sounds better this week, I fucking hope so. There's only 3 of us,
And
which
our mics work.
it might have sounded like there was last week, even though there were 5 of us.
Yes.
I think we've actually figured some things out.
Yes.
So if you think we sound better, let us know on that as well. We appreciate it because I do that.
yes. This is all on Luke for how we sound. So blame him.
Blame me. Send your messages to.
Blame Canada.
I was gonna give them one of your guys' emails. No, send your thoughts to knowandDrink@gmail.com.
Yes.
So other thoughts on this whole scene here. We see the dragon go down, right? That's the last thing that we were just kind of talking about, and then we see the dragon on the ground, Danny trying to pull the pike, spear out of its shoulder,
And the bolt.
Sure.
and who also sees that? Tyrion sees this, and who else?
Jamie.
So Tyrion definitely, even before this, before Drogon even goes down, Tyrion sees this.
He's watching the whole battle with some of the Dothraki.
who are like, your men can't.
Your
like,
men fucking suck.
They're pretty shitty, and
You call
he
this
has like this.
You call this an army?
This look on his face of either, and maybe I'll ask your opinion on this because I think either he is a little bit embarrassed on how much they are routing that he believed in, or he's a little bit worried about what Danny is turning into. Like he's seeing the very thing that Robert Baratheon was terrified of, letting Danny even live, like early on. Like that's why he sent the assassin.
My feeling on it's actually kind of option 3.
Okay.
I think
I'll allow it.
The look that Tyrion was given kind of harkens back to what Dickon had said to Jamie and Bronn about some of those men. I was pledged to those men. I knew some of those men. It was hard.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was the look.
It's more of the personal relationship.
That's the Lannister man. Even though he hates his sister, hates everybody else. He still, that's his people. That's who he grew up with. Even though they may have treated him like absolute shit. So, want to see that, but he knows he has a look. He knows it needs to be done, but it still sucks.
Yeah.
It's it's a shitty situation. I think that's probably closer to what, because he knew what the Dothraki could do. Robert, was afraid of.
He never really saw them fight. Anything that happened with them before was before he got there.
That was his theory, I think.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit more than massacre than I think he expected.
Yeah,
I don't know, and the dragon being there too.
Exactly.
This field of fire too.
I think it was maybe harking back to even Battle of Blackwater, where he burnt the shit out of Stannis, and he saw the pain and saw the suffering that he caused, and now he's seeing Danny, and maybe he is worried about what Danny's becoming too. That maybe tie into it because he can see her causing the pain and all that
Yeah.
too. So I mean, it could be multiple things.
I think it's a pretty complicated look. I think Peter Dinklage does a good job at confusing us because I think he's confused on how he feels.
Exactly, but he still conveys the emotion.
Right.
You know,
yeah, that's what I meant. Like, he does a good job of showing that.
Yes.
In probably a variety of ways.
No, definitely.
Yeah, I think this is just there's arguments to be made about each of those, just reasons why he would feel that way or look like he feels that way. My thought though is I think this is what the episode was named. This was Spoils of War.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's similar to like think about like the Civil War, and you had like cousins, family members fighting on each side, and I think that's how he feels. Is he's fighting for this side, but they're fighting against his brother who he still cares for.
Yeah.
I think you're exactly right for sure.
Lannister men that he cares for.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, and even in the post show discussion with Eddie Off, they talked about this really being the first time that we've really cared about several main characters on both sides of this conflict.
Yeah,
Bronn and Jaime on one side, and
Dickon,
and never forget
Dickon.
Dickon. Clearly Tyrion.
But fuck Randall.
So he's apparently good at his job. And, clearly Dany and Drogon, who I think we all kind of care about. At least, he's a very impressive tool.
No, absolutely.
I kind of wish we got a little more characteristics from the dragons other than just pure destruction. Like, I wish they got a little more personality.
I think
the other two might.
What, like Big Bird or something?
Well,
hey, welcome to Sesame Dragon. Sesame Stone.
Sesame Stone.
No, I don't know. Like, but the Blackwater, every other battle has been a pretty clear cut. These are the good guys. These are the bad guys. The Battle of the Wall. Yeah, we had a couple people. Ygritte was on the other side. Tormund, but
Mance.
But it was still a little different because didn't really want this fight to happen, but he knew it had to. It's a little different from the both sides wanting pure destruction for the other side.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely.
Going into it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. It's honestly, I don't give a crap about the Dothraki. The dragon, Tyrion. Yeah, I can see.
We couldn't even name the Blood Riders.
Yeah,
like I think that was.
I think they let them go. Like that's the problem with the show.
They didn't play that up because they're never even in the
council room.
Councils.
That's
what surprises me.
Yeah, this year where they were when John showed up. I'm in a long
right when he showed up on the shore. They're just like bodyguards.
But typically, it's the
they're
Unsullied.
not like in the council. Right. It's always Grey Worm who's like speaking for the Unsullied and the Dothraki.
Yeah.
Grey Worm is talking for all of the Associan war. Military forces.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So. Nice.
He's got a dick we can follow. That's not a saying.
Okay, so I think we were talking about this earlier, but Blackwater Rush.
Yes.
So where exactly is that?
That, if you take out your maps, you can actually look up.
I'm going to recommend going to www.quartermaster.net. It's one of the best interactive Westerosi maps out there.
That I actually pulled up right now. And if we look, the Blackwater Rush feeds into King's Landing. It runs just a little south before turning back northwest. Is right on the, if you take a straight line from King's Landing
as
to
Raven
flies to Highgarden, you basically come up.
Correct.
You'll take the Rose Road. Actually, a little bit, but a little offshoot of the Rose Road.
Okay.
A little offshoot of the Rose Road.
Okay.
But you take that, you'll cross the Blackwater Rush and just southeast or southwest of King's Landing. So I would probably put this in maybe 50 miles away from southwest of King's Landing.
For the kids at home, they are close to King's Landing.
Yes,
sure.
They're close enough.
And the scene starts off with Randall Tarley saying the gold was
big,
delivered through the gates of King's Landing.
Big,
so they have the gold.
They got the gold.
They got the gold. They all feel stretched very thin. This is like maybe like the caboose of this train from Highgarden. King's Landing that just gets roasted on the Blackwater Rush.
Very much so. So one last thought on is we saw Jaime decide to relive his old glory days on the jousting field, pick up a spear and go charging at Dany and Drogon. Now, quick question: do you think he was going for Dany or was he going for Drogon?
Dany.
You think
you cut the head? You cut the head off the snake, and the whole thing's done. He's sacrificing himself.
He knew he'd get roasted, but he could get the spear in there.
If he could get in before they realized and do enough to take her out of the game, cut the head off the snake.
But my favorite
or the serpent
favorite line of it was Tyrion up on the hill. He sees this. He's like, "Flee, you idiot! You fucking idiot!" And just I have 3 brothers. I know if I was in that position, I'd be like, "Go, dude! I hate you, but fucking go!" God damn, you fucking idiot. You know, that was definitely a brother, you know, kind of just moment of he doesn't want him to die, but he knows he's going to because you know, he's going up against the dragon.
He wants him to do what, you know, something else, but you can just see that things playing out that he's gonna go and try and get this, you know, to kill Daenerys is his last thing or whatever, and it just Tyrion just can't watch this almost. It's just like, are you fucking kidding me? Don't do it.
Yeah,
you're gonna die.
It was pretty powerful scene. I mean, and then you see Jaime, like you see him clearly knowing that's what's gonna happen.
Yep.
And
we see the torches light in Drogon's throat.
And then from out of the sky, like a bomb, comes some little punk on a horse named Bronn to knock him off. To knock Jaime off.
Where did Bronn get the horse? Rob, I'm granted
another sword off the ground, all over the place.
Just saying, you know, it's one of those.
It was one of the ones attached to the
very
I think it was Rocco's.
Yeah, Rocco's. But so, last shot of the scene. Hello, darkness, my old friend. As we cut the credits, thoughts? No speculation or spoilers, but actually, is Jaime dead?
Oh.
It's one of them things with Game of Thrones that he confirmed him dead. So,
yeah, I think there's no chance. I think there's a chance that Bronn is pretty messed up. I think his back half was roasted.
That could be. I could
see a couple Bronn chicken legs on the Barbie.
It's bronzed.
Yeah, bronzed. He's bronzed. Damn.
All right. We're gonna pass up this part here.
Okay.
And about 3 more sections. So, really quick, if you guys enjoy reading or listening or anything like that, we bet you do because you're listening to us right now.
You listen to podcasts.
You listen to podcasts.
Probably like audiobooks too.
Exactly. I know we do. So, we'll give you a free book. All you got to do is go to thepodcastthat.com/support.
Support us.
Support us. Sorry, thepodcastthat.com/support us. Click on the link for Audible, sign up, get a free book and a 30-day subscription to Audible. Any book you want this month or this week?
Let's see. I'm going to recommend A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Duncan
Egg.
Okay.
The first installment of Duncan Egg. It's very good.
I haven't listened to that one yet, but
Roy to Trace again. No, I'm sorry. That one's actually Viserys Targaryen. The actor's name. We should look that up real quick. Got a really interesting
take on it. Interesting.
Actor. And his name is
Harry.
Good job, Harry.
Related Christopher.
I could check. I doubt it.
All right.
Shout out to it's like the Danny and Donald Glover. Who knows? So I hope it's not.
I don't mind. They're both white.
Harry Dunn and Lloyd Christmas.
Anybody? I don't know where the beer flows like wine.
All right. So one more time, if you're interested, get a free book on us. Just go to podcastthat.com/support us for a free 30-day trial and check out what book was that again, Luke?
That is A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
There you go. Oh, all right. Thank you, guys. Now we're moving on to our next area, the description accuracy. Now, the description for this episode, we'll say one more time, was
the Lannisters pay their debts. Daenerys weighs her options. I'd say 3 for 3 on things that actually happened.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Those things definitely happened. For the kids at home,
nothing.
Heck, the Lannisters did not pay their goddamn debts. Yet there hasn't been put in their hands. Just saying.
They talk about paying their debts.
They're close. They're close.
Jaime Lannister paid Bronn, who has earned his keep for the last 5 seasons.
I'll give you that. Yes.
Some debts were paid.
8 Lannister paid
less 5, 7. Goddamn it. 1.
Yeah, I'm looking more at the Blackwater. When Bronn earned in Jaime's eyes.
He wasn't there. He was held captive. He didn't earn Jaime's shit till Dorne.
That's probably fair. I got you, bitch. But how accurate did you think this was outside of the obvious? Anything else special about it?
It was the Arya comes home thing moment and left for a not bittersweet, but very sweet, but weary kind of thing. But I guess if you read it, and that's one thing with HBO, they don't release these even until like that show. They're in
these descriptions.
Yeah, because that's which we have no idea about.
Nope.
Good boys.
Yeah, we really did wait until Sunday night, and we saw on HBO now how they had. It was like the file was not even properly done because it had four. What did
they
it
said
say?
Game of Thrones episode 60.
Yeah, it didn't actually have the spoils of war as the title of the episode. It was there
So they put it on
today.
lockdown.
I watched it today and it had it, but
I think the description was something like or something.
oh, like the generic, like please enter description here.
Yeah, and so HBO, you get it. You know, you got to protect your stuff.
Technology is difficult.
It is, you know. So keep doing what you're doing. You know, it's one of those. We'll support it.
Yeah.
So all right, next thing. Moving on. What's your favorite thing?
My favorite thing from the
Okay, well, apparently the video's not working very well. So instead of forcing you guys to listen to a broken file, which I did not anticipate happening, that's bad. That's bad news bears. But we're gonna call it short there. The full edited version of the audio only will be available on the podcast feed, so definitely check that out. I might make the original YouTube video public again as well, so you can finish from, looks like we're about an hour and a half into it, so you can watch there's about an hour left in it as well. Yeah, so again, sorry, I'm a little disappointed as well, but we will hopefully see you guys all again on Sunday. I believe it's going to be Sunday night around 8 p.m. Central-ish. Definitely check Twitter for updates on that. Follow us at Know and Drink on Twitter. Check out the podcast that for all of our fun shows, including the podcast that must not be named, which we just started live streaming that show on Monday nights as well. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed, and that's all I got right now. But thank you for joining us, and I am super excited to see you guys again really soon. Bye-bye.